I'm sitting here with Jim Kwik. He's an author, a brain coach, and I want to ask you, what is a brain coach?
That's a good question. When I was growing up, I didn't think I would be a brain coach. I had a traumatic brain injury when I was a child, and I had learning difficulties, and it took me 3 years longer to learn how to read, and I had focus, memory issues. I remember when I was 9 years old, I was slowing down a class, and I was being teased. A teacher came to my defense. She pointed to me in front of the whole class, said, "Leave that boy alone. That's the boy with the broken brain." And so I never thought I could help people with their brain. But a brain coach, I help them have their best brain that they desire and deserve, so they can have better focus, so that they can learn faster, so they could have less memory lapses and more mental energy, so they can perform and profit from that great brain that they have.
You have your book called Limitless,
yes.
And you also use it as an acronym. So what is Limitless?
Yeah, Limitless means a lot to a lot of different kinds of people. You know, Limitless, what it's not about being perfect. Limitless is about advancing. It's about progressing beyond what you currently believe is possible. And I think everybody has an area of their life where maybe they feel stuck and they're not advancing. And so we created a 3-part model to help you become more limitless, to redraw the borders and boundaries of what's possible in your life. So those 3 areas happen to be your mindset, your motivation, and the methods you're using. So let's say somebody feels a little limited financially. Part of it is their mindset. Maybe they don't believe it's possible. Maybe they don't believe they're capable of having that wealth. Maybe they don't believe they deserve that wealth. Or maybe they have a limitless mindset. They believe it's possible, they deserve it, they're capable, but they're not motivated, right? So they feel stuck because they're not motivated to do something about it. So in the book, we show people strategies on how to motivate yourself and overcome procrastination. And then finally, you could have a limitless mindset and limitless motivation, but you could still be stuck because you're using the wrong methods, strategies, right? The techniques. Maybe you're using something that's older, that's outdated for marketing or fundraising or building a business or health or sleep, right? They can be using old methods, and then you're still going to be stuck in that box. So I believe you control the controllables in your life. And what you can always control are your beliefs around something, your motivation, and the methods you're using.
And what do you think is the thing that we have in our brain, like a thought or an idea, that is the one that keeps us or holds us back the most?
So in Limitless, I talk about lies. A lie is a limited idea entertained. It's not true. But something like, for example, people have a belief that their intelligence is fixed. Like you take a test when you're 8 years old, an IQ test, and that's your potential when you're 88 years old. And that's not even true. That's a myth. We've discovered more about the human brain in the past 20 years than the previous 2,000 years combined. And we found is we're grossly underestimating our own capabilities. But if you believe you can or believe you can't, either way, you're right.
Yes.
And, Henry Ford said that. And all behavior is belief-driven. So part of becoming more limitless is doing an audit of our thoughts. Because let's take our memory. People have a lot of trouble remembering names, right?
I have that problem.
Yeah, I think everybody does. And it's important, in business, certainly. But your brain is this incredible supercomputer, and your self-talk is the program that computer will run. So if you tell yourself you're not good at remembering people's names, you won't remember the name of the next person you meet because you program your computer not to. So I think your mind is always eavesdropping on your self-talk. And so the first part of making any kind of change is just awareness, because you can't change something if you don't know it exists. And so I think what we need to do is audit our self-talk. And if you say, I don't have a great memory, then just add a little word, catch yourself. I don't have a great memory yet. And it opens up possibility. Even just outside, somebody pulled me aside and said, I'm so glad you're here. I know you're a memory expert. They said, I'm just too old. I have a horrible memory. And I said, exactly to this person, I said, stop. If you fight for your limitations, you get to keep them. Right? If you argue for your limits, then they're yours. So I think a good starting point is just auditing our self-talk.
This word "yet" I think is like a secret weapon. No?
I think so. It's just 3 little letters, but it just opens up possibility. Even myself, I find myself, oh, I gotta work out today. I gotta go to sleep early. I gotta, pick up my son or whatever it is. Even change it, that feels different. Got to, if I change it to get. I get to pick up my son today. Right? I get to go to sleep early. I get to move my body and exercise.
You change the vowel.
Yeah, just 1 little letter, but the experience changes, and those small little shifts, little by little in life, a little becomes a lot, because consistency compounds. So I think we want to think about our thoughts and our beliefs as a starting point, and then from there you could go into the methods and all the strategies and great resources that people are learning.
And what do you think about willpower? What does willpower have to do with our brains and our being achievers or non-achievers?
So willpower, the challenge with willpower, I do believe that through struggle comes strength. And Tal was talking about being anti-fragile. And that's very important, that you're, like emotional muscles and resilience. And it's tough because if you just relied on willpower alone, I don't think it's sustainable, because you could persist. If you're persistent, you could achieve it, right? But if you're consistent, you get to keep it, right? So anybody can be persistent and get to, a place where, maybe they're doing well financially, whatever, persist. But unless you're consistent, you can't keep that body or that relationship or whatever. And so I think really, instead of willpower, what I focus on are 3 areas: purpose, energy, and small, simple steps. Very manageable. If you need willpower to get yourself to do something, I'd rather somebody tap into the purpose of why it's important and really feel it. Because I feel like if you don't feel it, you're not going to do it. So purpose, and for me, purpose is, so people use passion and purpose very interchangeably. Passion for me is defined as something that lights you up. Like learning lights me up. Didn't always, but now it does. And purpose is how you use your passion to light somebody else up. So learning lights me up, that's my passion. Teaching people how to learn lights them up, and that's my purpose. So I feel like if you can find purpose, but then also sometimes people don't follow through, and instead of willpower, focus on purpose, focus on energy. Because sometimes if you're exhausted, you're not going to be very motivated to work out. Right, if you ate a big processed meal and reading is important, but you're not going to read because you're in a food coma, then I would maximize energy through sleep, through diet, through stress management, through a positive peer group. And then finally, you could have limitless purpose and limitless energy and still not be motivated, because you need S3, you need small, simple steps. So maybe working out every day is a big jump for someone who doesn't do that. So a small, simple step is putting on your running shoes. That's a small, simple step. Maybe you heard that leaders are readers and you should read 30 minutes a day, but if you're not doing it, maybe it's too big, it's too intimidating, and a confused mind doesn't do anything. A small, simple step, opening up a book or reading 1 line in a book. Because little by little, again, a little becomes a lot, because consistency compounds.
I always like to close my interviews asking for 2 tips.
Yes.
1 tip to be happy. What's your tip?
Yeah. Well, you could visit Mexico. That would be a good tip. I've been coming here for more than 10 years, speaking at conferences like City of Ideas in 2013 and others. Wonderful people, wonderful food. And we really love our visits. But I think travel is one of those things for happiness, is because it gives you perspective. We do an annual Brain Power conference that we host, and we had the music producer Quincy Jones in the audience, and he did We Are the World and Thriller, and I brought him on stage spontaneously, and I was like, can you tell me about the problem? Everyone talks about your successes. I want to know about your problems. And he looked at me, and he was like 80 something. He said, I don't have any problems. And I'm like, wait, everybody has problems. He was like, no, Jim, I don't have any problems. I have puzzles. And I think one of the keys to happiness is reframing challenges and problems. Because now a puzzle sounds fun. A puzzle, like there's a solution, right? And the other thing he said, though, and he speaks 23 different languages. And music, we did a whole interview about how music affects your brain and helps you learn languages and other things, and math. And he says this phrase, he says, you have to go to know. You have to go outside of what's normal for you, change people, change place, to give you a new point of view on the world. And you know, whether it's different aspects of culture, language, music, cuisine, architecture, museums, all these things.
Get to know something.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
Super. Jim, thank you, Jim Kwik, for talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.